Welcome back. You're still watching this morning on Channels Television. In continuation of our sectoral review, review of some sectors of the economy, today we'll be focusing on agriculture, and we know that a lot has been done in the agricultural sector this year. But let's talk more about this, and I'm being joined on the program by the Chairman, Agricultural Group of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Wale Oyekoya, as well as the representative of the Cassava Processors Association, Femi, Salami. Good morning, gentlemen, and thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning.
Well, just before we start our conversation, sometime at a forum this year, the Minister for Agriculture, Dr. Akim Additional, actually, spoke about some of the things that are being done in the sector. Let's quickly listen to that and then we'll start our conversation.
Nigeria has immense agricultural potential. We have 84 million hectares of arable land, but only cultivate 40%. We have 263 billion cubic meters of water, and my colleague, the Minister of Water Resources, is here with us. With two of the largest rivers in Africa, we have cheap labor to support agricultural intensification. Our population of 167 million people makes us a huge market. We must not be the market for others. We must grow our own food. We must feed ourselves. We must create markets locally for our own farmers. Charity begins at home. While our potential is great, no one eats potential. To unlock the potential of agriculture, to once again drive the economy, we embarked on a major transformation of the agricultural sector. We are doing this through the rapid transformation of the agricultural value chains from the farm to the table. We are treating agriculture as a money-making business and not a charitable development project. President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan launched the Agricultural Transformation Agenda in 2011 with the goal of adding an additional 20 million metric tons of food to our domestic food supply by 2015 and stimulating the creation of 3.5 million jobs all across the agricultural value chains. Ladies and gentlemen, so much has been achieved. Within the first 90 days of Mr. President's administration, we ended 4 decades of fertilizer sector racket and corruption. We launched the Growth Enhancement Scheme called GES to provide subsidized farm inputs to our farmers. To reach farmers directly with seeds and fertilizers, we developed the electronic wallet system, which allows farmers to receive subsidized electronic vouchers for their seeds and fertilizers on their own mobile phones. Nigeria is the first country in Africa, possibly in the world, to develop the electronic wallet system for targeting farmers with subsidized farm inputs. The system worked successfully. In 2012, 1.2 million smallholder farmers got their subsidized seeds and fertilizers using their mobile phones. This impacted on 7.5 million persons. So far in 2013, over 3.5 million farmers have received their subsidized inputs via the electronic wallet system. We expect to reach close to 5 million farmers by the end of the dry season. For the first time this year, we have expanded the Growth Enhancement Scheme to provide support for fisheries, for livestock and mechanization services. Sometimes people ask, will tractors be attached to a phone? Yes, it is already attached to the phone. To expand and reach even more farmers, we embarked on the nation's first ever registration of farmers. This year, we registered 10 million farmers already. Farmers now have identity cards that allows us to use their biometric information to target them more effectively. Because if you don't know your customers, then you must either be in the business that is a wrong business, or you are in the business of stealing money. African countries, as well as Brazil, India, and China, have expressed interest in adopting the system from Nigeria for reaching their own farmers with subsidized farm inputs. Nigeria is today exporting transparency. Indeed, this is a new dawn. Our agriculture has moved into the 21st century. We embarked on a major effort with Mr. President's absolutely great support to extricate Nigeria from its decades of dependency on rice imports. To achieve this, we set for ourselves the target of becoming self-sufficient in rice by 2015. This is not a mirage. We are well on our way to achieving this goal. In one dry season last year, Nigeria produced over 1 million metric tons of rice paddy, 1/3 of all the additional rice paddy needed to become self-sufficient in rice. Farmers all across 10 states of northern Nigeria have never witnessed such massive rice production. The villages boomed with economic activity in the midst of the dry season, when the youth would normally fold their hands with not much to do, as trailers could not make their way into the rice farms. Villagers devised new means of transport, using camels to haul rice paddy to the markets. Large-scale commercial rice producers are also expanding the production of rice locally. Dominion Farms has invested $40 million in a commercial rice farm in Taraba State. Olam has expanded rice cultivation by 10,000 hectares in response to policy incentives by the government. 14 large-scale integrated rice mills were established by the private sector in 2 years, producing international quality, long-grain, parboiled rice that is proudly ours.
As the Minister of Agriculture, Dr. Akiwumi Adesina, at the 19th Nigerian Economic Summit held in Abuja and organized by the Nigeria Economic Summit Group. Well, gentlemen, quite a lengthy one there, but I'm very sure that most of the issues that we're going to be looking at today was practically raised by the Minister. But let me just get your thoughts. He mentioned so many things. He talked about the agricultural transformation agenda. He also spoke about the fact that the growth and empowerment scheme seemed to have come on track and was readily been accepted by most farmers. Was that what actually happened in 2013?
Well, our findings always show that government has made serious efforts at making good agricultural policy through so many schemes, programs, and institutions. They have not been able to back it up with good budgetary, with no funds. I was aware of the 19th Economic Summit that was held in Abuja, and I remember that the President, Goodluck Jonathan, said, we are going to give 15 billion naira to farmers between that time and December. We are in December. I don't think there's a single farmer that benefits from this 15 billion naira. That one aside, we have so many beautiful policies being augmented by the government, but are they implemented to the right source to be able to help the real farmers in this country? There are so many funds coming in. I remember in January of this year, about $3 billion was given to our Ministry of Agriculture by the USAID. That's about 450 billion naira. I remember I appeared on these channels there. How many farmers really benefited from this 450 billion naira?
But then we've also, because these monies that we're saying that are actually supposed to be there is actually a very laughable one, because the issue of finance has always been a big one for farmers.
You can never go to any commercial banks today and take a fund for agric on a single diggers.
So where was that money lodged? It wasn't lodged with the commercial banks.
The minister need to tell us where the money is based, just like the other time where we had the 200 billion naira of the commercial agricultural credit scheme they was lodged in a bank for about 2 years, until people like myself and the private organizations started making it that, wait a minute, we have this intervention for 200 billion naira. Where is the funds? So it's the same thing with this 450 billion naira. The minister have to tell us, because I'm very close to the grassroots of all these farmers, and they call me several times, and I know so many farmers that have really gone under within the last 1 year because of lack of funds, because of lack of access to lands. So the minister needs to come and tell us that, listen, you farmer, this is what we'll be doing with the 450 billion naira. There was a time they said they are buying a whole large of rice milling equipment. What about the people in the grassroots? 80% of our farmers are rural farmers, women. Have they been touched? Is any one of them really benefited from this money? When you have most of these big equipments, how are they going to be utilized? They are going to be underutilized because the people that are supposed to produce are not producing for lack of funds.
Femi.
Yeah. Well, the growth enhancement scheme that the Minister of Agriculture mentioned in the Economic Summit. What is a very good program of the government is supposed to increase the capacity of the local farmers, is supposed to, efficiency in terms of the productivity per hectare of land. Because the problem we have in Nigeria is, even though 1 hectare of land in Nigeria can be giving you about 15 to 20 tons, while in some other climes you have up to 40, 50. So GEA is supposed to support the smallholder farmers.
Okay.
However, very good project, but look at what percentage of the budget and at what time was it released. I know the GS for agriculture, Cassava, so especially this year, was released in July. It was flagged off July.
And was released when?
That is July this year.
Okay, July.